What's up, YouTube? My name is Bigboysnacksjonnytv. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And tonight I'll go on my WWE Smackdown review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel because I'm on the road to 9K and the path to use a partner. I made a poll earlier just now, so make sure you guys please vote on it and follow my social media down below in the description. And as you can tell by the title, of the thumbnail. All right, let me give my honest opinion. Now, WWE Smackdown was a good show, and that's all I gotta say. SmackDown was live from Allstate Arena in Rosemount, Illinois. Commentary tonight were Ray Barrett and Joe Tessler. Then Now Forever together. The WWE SmackDown kicks off with an aerial shot of the city of Chicago and a shot of Allegiant Stadium, the state of WrestleMania. Live in the arena, a loud CM Punk chant Euros, and we cut to shots of Braun Strowman in the Bloodline entering the arena. That leads us to LA Knight entering the arena with his United States Championship. DIY and Motor City Machine Guns are also shown entering for the show. B-Fab and Naomi are next on the screen. So we get CM Punk and Paul Heyman. And this segment was not bad. This segment was good. Good segment. All right. Back in the arena, we cut to Wade Barrett and Joe Tessler, who welcome everyone to the show, and we cut to highlights of last week's main event contract signing involving CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. Back live in the arena, a loud chant CM Punk, and we hear Cult of Personality. Out comes CM Punk, who takes it all in and hugs fans in attendance. He stands on the barricade and to celebrate with the fans and gets into the ring. He stands in the ring with the fans chanting his name, and he begins by telling them that he doesn't know where to begin, but they told him that the best television audience were overseas. CM Punk says, but he knew they were coming to Chicago, and that gets an ovation from the crowd. CM Punk grabs the camera from Rico, and the cameraman and he begins shouting the crowd in a loud CM Punk chant. He tells them that why they didn't listen to outside voices. He says little fact is that he is not supposed to be here. He was born in Silver Cross Hospital with a cord around his neck. He was born blue and they had to bring him back to life. And every time he comes out, no matter the city he aims to make new fans, but to excuse him tonight because his aim is to thank the 16,000 in attendance tonight. CM Punk says when they tell him he's not supposed to be here, he asks who's going to get him to leave. He says nothing has changed, but he is in the main event of WrestleMania 41. A loud "You deserve it" chant from the crowd. CM Punk asks if he deserves it. He says he has earned it. He studied in the backyard of Chicago. He trained. He signed a contract with the WWE, and they said he wasn't supposed to be here. To him, that's when the hard work begins, and he appreciates people congratulating him. He says now the hard work begins. He is product of Chicago. He has the he has to thank everyone, and he thanks his wife, April AJ Lee. Chant from the crowd. He smiles and goes on to thank his dog Larry. That gets a Larry chant. He says there are too many people to thank, and he would not be who he is, or he is he is at without this city. He thanks them and says now the hard work begins because he has a date at WrestleMania 41 and he promised that he is going to whoop Seth Rollins. You know what? He is going to put a beating on the tribal chief Roman Reigns at the main event of WrestleMania 41. We hear Paul Heyman saying, "Ladies and gentlemen," he walks down to the ring, introducing himself. He apologized for being late and he calls CM Punk his best friend in the best in the world. The best in the world, and Paul Heyman gets in the ring with fans chant ECW. Paul Heyman says to ask what your wise man can do for you. He tells CM Punk that he belongs here in the ring in Chicago in the main event of WrestleMania 41. Paul Heyman says the last time they were standing in the ring, the bloodline was beating down his neck, and the next week they put him through a table. After that, CM Punk had a Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre, as CM Punk was contem- con- contemplating never come back. But Paul Heyman was pleased with him and told him he needs someone at War Games for Roman Reigns and to do him a favor. Then CM Punk did that and he saved him the match in the bloodline. Paul Heyman thanks him and tells him that he has one more favor to ask of him. CM Punk is surprised and asks him, "What is it?" He tells CM Punk to him. He tells CM Punk to tell him what the favor he owes him is because Roman Reigns will be here and he is already pissed off and he doesn't know what happens when Roman Reigns gets angry. CM Punk gets him if Roman Reigns is not there and Paul Heyman says not yet. CM Punk says as much as he thinks the favor of is none of Roman Reigns' business. It will affect him, and that is why he will tell Paul Heyman that the favorite is when Roman Reigns arrives, and he will tell them both. CM Punk drops the microphone and leaves the ring with his song playing. A video package for Rey Fenix airs. That was a good segment with CM Punk. All right, commercial break. Nathan Frazier, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champion, is in the ring for his match. The lights goes out, and out comes Rey Fenix with flashing lights and power going off behind him. Wade Barrett mentions how Rey Fenix is Penta's brother. So you're gonna bring up an NXT talent to SmackDown to go up against Rey Fenix. All right, let's get this first match. Rey Fenix versus Nathan Frazier. This was a very good match right here. The bell rings and we are underway. Nathan Frazier with an armbar, but Rey Fenix with an acrobatic reverse. Rey Fenix with a spinning kick to the side of the head. He goes for the cover, but Nathan Frazier kicks out. Rey Fenix with the Hurricanrana, cover, but Nathan Frazier kicks out. A fast pace to start the match. Rey Fenix will grab Nathan Frazier, but Nathan Frazier throws him to the outside of the ring. Nathan Frazier goes for a suicide dive, but he gets his foot caught on the rope and Rey Fenix catches him. Rey Fenix climbs the top rope in a spinning corkscrew onto Nathan Frazier. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Rey Fenix pushes Nathan Frazier off the top rope, but Nathan Frazier lands on his feet and jumps back onto the top rope, landing a superplex. He gets back up and hits a neck breaker. Nathan Frazier goes for the cover, but Rey Fenix kicks out. "Let's go," Rey Fenix chant from the crowd. Nathan Frazier climbs the top rope, goes for the Rey Fenix splash, but Rey Fenix moves out of the way. Both men on their feet and Nathan Frazier with a knee to the face. He goes for a suplex. Rey Fenix lands on his feet and lands a drop kick. Nathan Frazier leans on the top rope. Rey Fenix climbs the top rope, walks across and kicks him in the face in the goodbye amigo kick. Rey Fenix delivers a fire driver. Fire driver. He goes for the cover, but Nathan Frazier kicks out. He go he grabs Nathan Frazier's, but Nathan Frazier with a kick to the side of the head. Both men get back up and Rey Fenix with a super kick, and he placed Nathan Frazier on the top rope. Rey Fenix with the Mexican muscle buster. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Rey Fenix. This was a good match between Rey Fenix and Nathan Frazier. But still, yeah, why would you bring the NXT up to the main roster to go up against Rey Fenix? But still, that was a great match, but it didn't make sense at the same time that Nathan Frazier was caught up to the. I don't know, but Nathan Frazier was there on SmackDown to go up against Rey Fenix. But that was a good match between Rey Fenix and Nathan Frazier. All right, Byron Saxton is in the ring after the match, and he interviews Rey Fenix after the match. Rey Fenix speaks in Spanish, thanking Chicago. He says he has a lot of history in Chicago with everyone. Tonight is not the debut of Rey Fenix. Tonight is so much more. Tonight he is a rewarded with love, passion, with rage. He's waited his whole life to say this. I am WWE Animal. We cut to Legado del Fantasma and Santos Escobar tells them that is a great debut in the kind of performance he expects from Angel and Berto. They look at him in disagreement. Escobar tells them he likes their fire and says he will speak with Nick Aldis to have a match. Rey Fenix against Berto and Santos walks away. Berto's gonna get cooked next week. But can you imagine Rey Fenix joins Legado del excuse me? Can you imagine Rey Fenix joins Legado del Fantasma? Can you imagine? Oh man. But anyway, let me move on. Commercial break. A video of Drew McIntyre airs. He's wearing an eye patch talking about Damian Priest, and no one cares about him unless he is feeding off Drew McIntyre's scraps. He asks Damian Priest to explain to him why he is wrong and to fight him like a man. But Damian Priest did what he always does. He attacks like a vulture. He puts him through a windshield. He can't live through his back hurting while flying across the Atlantic. He says he needs to pray, and when Drew prays, bad things happen. Byron Saxton is backstage with Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman says he has had enough of Jacob Fatu getting involved in his business. Tonight he will keep him down and go to WrestleMania 41 and compete his Grand Slam. And in comes Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. In comes LA Knight, who tells Braun Strowman not to wrestle this time with Solo, not to waste his time with Solo, and for Braun Strowman to keep his eye on the prize. Solo Sikoa tells him he has a lot of balls to come and speak to him like that. Tama Tonga tells LA Knight he should be worried about him tonight, and LA Knight tells him he will make a lot of noise tonight because he will be stomping him out. LA Knight begins to walk to the ring with his music playing. Alright, that was a random segment. That was just random. That backstage random. That backstage segment itself was just random. Alright, so we go to commercial break. Alright, let's move on. So we get LA Knight versus Tama Tonga accompanied by Solo Sikoa. And this was a decent match. The bell rings, we are underway. LA Knight with right hands and he throws Tama Tonga to the ropes, hitting him with an elbow to the face. LA Knight with a suplex and grabs Tama Tonga, but Tama Tonga trips him up and LA Knight falls face first onto the turnbuckle. Tama Tonga with a backdrop and he goes for the cover, but LA Knight kicks out Tama Tonga to the ropes and LA Knight with a big boot and he throws Tama Tonga into the corner. He stomps on him in the corner and he lands a running knee to the face and Tama Tonga rolls to the outside of the ring. LA Knight with a modified baseball slide takes Tama Tonga down. He slams Tama Tonga's face onto the announcer table and back into the ring. LA Knight gets on the ring apron and does solo, which distracts LA Knight. Tama Tonga pushes LA Knight off the ring apron and lands face first onto the announcer table. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, LA Knight with a shoulder tackle in the middle of the ring, followed by a sunset flip cover, but Tama Tonga kicks out. Tama Tonga gets back up and hits LA Knight with a clothesline. Tama Tonga with a suplex and goes for the cover, but LA Knight kicks out. Tama Tonga climbs the second rope and goes for an elbow drop, but LA Knight moves out of the way. Both men to their feet and LA Knight with right hands, and he ends it with a clothesline. A net breaker by LA Knight, followed by a power slam. He runs the ropes and lands a jumping elbow drop. He goes for the BFT, but Tama Tonga pushes him to the ropes and Tama Tonga distracts the referee. Solo Sikoa gets on the ring apron and LA Knight pushes him down. Tama Tonga grabs LA Knight, but LA Knight lands BFT. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, LA Knight. That was a decent match between LA Knight and Tama Tonga. Decent match. We cut to the back, and Paul Heyman is standing at the arena entrance. In comes Byron Saxton. Paul Heyman begins to speak to Byron Saxton, but stops. He grabs the camera and says that no matter what the favorite is, his answer is yes. And as he is speaking, a car is showing arriving to the arena. He tells CM Punk, anything you want, the answer is yes. Paul Heyman yells, my tribal chief, you have arrived in Chicago, but out comes Seth Rollins. He tells Paul Heyman to cheer up and that he was probably expecting the other Shield guy. He tells Paul Heyman to look that he tells he tells Paul Heyman he looks awful. He says he has a great week. He has a great week once he got away for his from the CM Punk stuff. He was able to gain some perspective and formulate a plan. He tells Paul Heyman that this favorite thing he's really dug himself into a hole, but it affects him too, and that's when Roman does arrive to let him know because he wants to be present to hear what the favorite is too, and he walks out. You already know who's gonna be the favorite at WrestleMania. So Paul Heyman wants to be in CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania 41 because I know something is up at WrestleMania 41. I just had to put that out there. But anyway, back at ringside, Charlotte Flair music hits, and out she comes. So we go to commercial break. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. What was this segment? I don't know, but this segment was just solid. Out comes Tiffany Stratton with Wade Barrett and Charlotte Flair in the ring. Wade Barrett introduced the WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton and her WrestleMania 41 opponent, the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair. Tiffany Stratton asked the fans what time it is, and the fans yell, "It's Tiffy time." Wade Barrett and Charlotte Flair why she asked Tiffany Stratton for WrestleMania 41, and if she still thinks this was the wise choice. Charlotte Flair says Tiffany Stratton was begging, and there she was. The fans boo Charlotte Flair as she continues her promo. She says she did make the right choice because she wanted to make the smarter wrestling fans in the world here in Chicago that there is no comparison. Tiffany Stratton asks her if she is done. She tells Charlotte Flair that her biggest competition has been the fans, and no matter what they is at battle, Charlotte Flair will never win. She likes to pretend like nothing bothers her, but she goes on crying on some boo hoo talk show, and she can breaks all the records. But when it is all said and done, she's she will still come second to her father Ric Flair, and at WrestleMania 41, she will come second to her. Charlotte Flair begins to speak, but the fans cut her off, and Tiffany Stratton says that is power. Charlotte Flair tells them to hold on. She tells Tiffany Stratton she just repeated what her opponent of the last 10 years have said. As she talks, the boos get louder, and Charlotte Flair starts talking. The crowd gave Charlotte Flair the Dominic Mysterio treatment right there. Every time Charlotte Flair is finna get ready to speak, the crowd booed her. They gave Charlotte Flair the Dominic Mysterio treatment. All right, let me continue. Charlotte Flair begins to speak again, and the fans booed. Tiffany Stratton asks her if the cat has got her tongue, and Charlotte Flair asks the fans what they would like for her to say. Charlotte Flair tells Tiffany Stratton she can have the last word. Tiffany Stratton tells her that at 25-year-old she was trying to be a volleyball player, drinking in her daddy's basement. At her at 25 years old, she's walking into WrestleMania 41 as the WWE Women's Champion. Charlotte Flair says this is just another match, but it looks like Tiffany Stratton got to her, and her WrestleMania 41 record would be 4-3. But outside of the ring, she isn't the queen of you know what. Tiffany Stratton calls her a nipple baby, and Charlotte Flair says she is a nipple queen. Tiffany Stratton tells her when she beats her at WrestleMania 41, she will be just like she is outside of the ring alone. Charlotte Flair's record is 0-3, and she throws her microphone and leaves the ring. Charlotte Flair asks her if that's why Louis Kaiser is in her DMs, and Tiffany Stratton leaves with her title in the air. That segment was just something else. but I do not want Charlotte Flair to win at WrestleMania 41. I want Tiffany Stratton to retain the WWE Women's Champion at WrestleMania 41. If Tiffany Stratton loses to Charlotte Flair, this is going to be an upset to the wrestling community, and the IWC is going to complain about why Tiffany Stratton lost to Charlotte Flair. I know the IWC is going to be tweeting their frustration on Twitter. I can already see it coming. But that segment was just something else, man. All right, but that was a solid segment. We cut to Nick Aldis, who is backstage, and says, in conjunction with Adam Pearce, they will be a women's tag team gauntlet match. Winners will face Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez at WrestleMania 41. And I hope Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez drop the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions to somebody else. That's all I gotta say. Cause Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan always finds a way to cheat every single time. Because you already know the Judgment Day. You know how the Judgment Day is with Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Carlito. And I already know. That segment between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair was all kind of bad, but mostly down to Charlotte Flair. She had to go home. He not bad guys. She could tell she was lost, and Tiffany Stratton's promo had a lot of realness to it. Hashtag Smackdown. Tiffany Stratton did very well on the microphone. So I gotta give credit to Tiffany Stratton for its due, because Tiffany Stratton did very well on the microphone. So I'm proud of Tiffany Stratton. So that's all I gotta say. But let's move on. So we get the next match, number one contenders tag team match: Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. All right, and that was a good. This was a good tag team match. The Street Profits are at ringside for the match. The bell rings. We are underway. Chris Sabin and Johnny Gargano start the match. Chris Sabin with an arm drag and Ciampa is tagging. Chris Sabin with an arm drag and Alex Shelley is tagging. Alex Shelley climbs the top rope and lands a double axe handle onto Ciampa. They throw Ciampa to the ropes and take him down with a double shoulder tackle. In comes Johnny Gargano and the Motor City Machine Guns. Close on them both. Alex Shelley gets Ciampa in the corner and hits him with the right hands in a clothesline. Ciampa to the outside of the ring. Alex Shelley chases Ciampa around the ring and backs into the ring. Johnny Gargano is tagged in and he lands a slingshot spear onto Alex Shelley as Alex Shelley gets into the ring. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Chris Sabin with a crossbody onto DIY and both men are down. DIY are down on the outside and Chris Sabin with a suicide dive through the legs of Alex Shelley. Chris Sabin tags Alex Shelley in and they get Tommaso Ciampa into the ring to hit him with a double super kick. Chris Sabin is tagged in and he climbs the top rope, but Johnny Gargano trips him up with the referee distracted. The turnbuckle is exposed and Ciampa with a knee to the face. He lifts Chris Sabin up and lands a double knee to the back. He goes for the cover, but Chris Sabin kicks out. Johnny Gargano is tagged in and he hits Chris Sabin with a super kick. He goes for the cover, but Alex Shelley breaks it up. Tommaso Ciampa throws Alex Shelley to the outside of the ring and Ciampa is tagged in. They go for a meeting in the middle. Chris Sabin moves out of the way and he pushes Ciampa into Johnny Gargano. In comes Alex Shelley and they double team Tommaso Ciampa. Alex Shelley climbs the top rope. Johnny Gargano throws him off the top rope. Chris Sabin pushes Johnny Gargano off the ring apron and Tommaso Ciampa goes for the cover and puts his feet on the ropes for leverage. The referee sees it and breaks the count up. Yeah, breaks the count up. Tommaso Ciampa runs towards Chris Sabin, but Chris Sabin moves out of the way, and Ciampa hits the exposed turnbuckle. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, the number one contenders, the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. This was a good tag team match. Alright, after the match, the Motor City Machine Guns are face to face with the tag team champions, the Street Profits. Alright. We cut to the Miz and Carmelo Hayes, who are backstage, and they stop in front of Pretty Deadly. The Miz calls them pretty unless. Carmelo Hayes asks them if they are a tag team or the Chicago Bears. That part was funny. Pretty Deadly says they have jokes. The Marine 3, the Marine 4, the Marine 5. The Miz says at least the Marine was made and asks them how their musical is. Pretty Deadly says they just finished one about someone who has not been revealing in 10 years. They began to argue and they asked Carmel Hayes why he is happy to be regated to being with the Miz. Carmel Hayes tells him that Pretty Deadly couldn't beat them on their best day. Good tag team match. Glad the Motor City Machine Guns got the win. Them then against the Street Profits can be a great match, which is I agree. Hashtag SmackDown. All right, let's move on. So we go to commercial break. So we get B Fab versus Naomi. This was a squash match. B Fab in the ring. Out comes Naomi for the match, but she is attacked by Jay Cargill from behind. Out comes WWE security who stops Jay Cargill, but Naomi gets in the ring. The referee rings the bell. B-Fab with a clothesline followed by a right hand. A spinning kick by B-Fab followed by a big boot. She goes for the cover, but Naomi kicks out. B-Fab with a slam, and she goes for the cover, but Naomi kicks out. She goes for a spinning kick, but Naomi moves out of the way, and B-Fab puts is struck up on the top rope. Naomi gives her in a trio roll and slams her head into the turnbuckle. Naomi pulls B-Fab's face into her knee and modified knee long blower. She goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Naomi. This was a squash match. But this was a good part right here. She grabs the microphone after the match and asks Jade Cargill where is she at because she's still standing. She turns around and Jade Cargill gets in the ring, hitting her with a big boot. She grabs Naomi, but in comes security to break it up. Jade Cargill throws the security out of the ring. Out comes Nick Aldis, who says he has had enough of this, and there is only one solution. Nick Aldis makes the match for WrestleMania 41, and both women smile and are happy with it. I am glad that this match is happening between Naomi and Jade Cargill. So, I really want Jade Cargill to win, but I don't know. But I do want now Naomi Hill has been phenomenal. But I do want to see Jade Cargill win, so I'm gonna let this match between Jade Cargill and Naomi speak for itself at WrestleMania 41. All right, that's gonna be now. I'm happy about that. All right, it says Damian Priest. A video of Damian Priest airs. He tells Drew McIntyre that he did his job by cashing in at WrestleMania, and Drew McIntyre screwed him. At Clash at the Castle, it should have been them, but his obsession with CM Punk came back and cost him the match. At Money in the Bank, he tried to cash in, but his bad guys cost him. He tells Drew McIntyre that at the Royal Rumble in the Elimination Chamber, he eliminated him from both, but after that, Drew McIntyre attacked him in like a coward. He calls Drew McIntyre a hypocrite, but because he's and complains. He tells Drew McIntyre he is a junkie. He gets off on a high by making jokes every week. He tells Drew McIntyre that he is that he is his villain. His time to pray. His time to pray is now. To 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 look for him in the middle of the ring, face to face, eye to eye, because he wants Drew McIntyre to stop playing the victim and become his victim at WrestleMania 41. We cut to Kevin Owens walking backstage, and he is walking towards the ring. All right. There was some progress from B-Fab, but this was all about Naomi and Jade Cargill. They did well here and are getting me interested in their match. Hashtag SmackDown. So we go to commercial break. So yeah, we go to commercial break. So we get Kevin Owens and Randy Orton segment. And in this segment right here, it was not bad. I might as well say this segment was okay for what it was. Nick Aldis is in the middle of the ring, and he says this is part of his job that is not very fun. In this industry, there is a fine line between coming back next week and finding out that you may never step foot in the ring again. It is a clinch, but There is a reason why they said don't try this at home. He doesn't want to say much, but much more because he would rather we hear it from the man himself. He introduced Kevin Owens to the ring. Kevin Owens, out comes Kevin Owens wearing a Bret Hart jacket and he looks dejected. He says he has been doing this for 25 years and he thinks he can he can confidently says that for the 25 years he gave everything he had, and because of this industry he has been able to take care of his family in a way he can only dream of, because but there is a price to pay for that amazing opportunity, and that is the toll of it, a toll it takes on their bodies. Every guy and girl in the back has paid the price, and now it seems like it is his turn, because for the last 4 months he has been dealing with a pretty serious neck injury, but this week they figure out, and now he has to go get neck injury, and that is what he'll do. That is and it and that is what he will do, and the time it could not be worse, because not getting to be in the ring with Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41 really sucks. He says he is really thankful for WWE to allow him to come out and says all of this because the truth is that he does not know when he will be front fronting off the fans again. Kevin Owens says what he does know is that the last few years has learned not to take anything for granted, and he will never take this for granted. The fans began to clap. It says for now he wants to say thank you and he is sorry and thank you. He shakes Nick Aldis' hands. Yeah, he shake Nick Aldis' hand and drops the microphone. As he is about to leave, Randy Orton's music hits. Randy Orton walks down and he looks confused. Kevin Owens is standing on the ring apron, and Randy Orton walks up to the ring and steps in onto the ring apron. Both men look at each other. Kevin Owens leaves the ring and Randy Orton gets in the ring. Kevin Owens stops at a fan who apparently says something to him, but the camera cuts to Randy Orton, who is in the ring. The fans chant Randy Orton, and Nick Aldis tells him that he hates to be the one to this, but he that mean tell him this, but that means he's no longer in a WrestleMania. He's no longer has a match at WrestleMania 41. Randy Orton hits Nick Aldis with an RKO, and his music hits as he looks at the WrestleMania 41 sign. Oh, I know Randy Orton must be upset. But but that was funny when Randy Orton hit an RKO on Nick Aldis. But can we get Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis? Who knows? After what just happened when Randy Orton hit Nick Aldis with the RKO, we might as well get that match. I wouldn't mind it. Try something new. All right, let's move on. So we go to commercial break. All right, so we get the last man standing number one contenders match for the United States Championship. The Werewolf Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu versus the Monster among Men, Braun Strowman. And this match right here, this was physical. This match was pretty good, but this was physical at the same time. As Braun Strowman is walking down the ring, Jacob Fatu runs down in the bell rings. Strowman with right hands, and he throws Jacob Fatu into the ring. Braun Strowman gets in, but Jacob Fatu with a super kick. Jacob Fatu climbs the second rope, but Braun Strowman trips him up. He grabs Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu lands on his feet and hits him with a super kick followed by a spinning elbow. Jacob Fatu with a jump up moonsault. He lands another one, and the referee begins the 10 count. The referee counts to 7, but Braun Strowman rolls to the outside of the ring and lands on his feet. Back from commercial break, Braun Strowman grabs a table from under the ring. Braun Strowman slides it in the ring, and he hits Jacob Fatu with the right hand. Braun Strowman leans the table into one of the corners, and Jacob Fatu hits him with a super kick. Jacob for two turns back and runs towards Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman hits him with a big boot. Braun Strowman runs towards Jacob for two, but Jacob for two lowers the top rope and Braun Strowman falls to the outside, landing on his feet. Jacob for two lands a suicide dive onto Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman flies over the announcer table. Both men back up, and Jacob for two throws him face first into the ring post. Jacob for two runs towards Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman hits him with a steel chair to the head. The referee begins to 10 count, but Jacob for two gets back up. Braun Strowman with the Strowman Express through the barricade, and both men are down. The referee begins to 10 count, but both men are up at 9. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, and both men are fighting in the arena between the fans. They are standing on the top of the crate, and Braun Strowman suplexes Jacob Two through the table onto the concrete. The fans begin to count, but both men are up at the count of 9. Both men walk towards the ringside, and Braun Strowman is slipping on his left leg. Braun Strowman gets back into the ring, as does Jacob Two. As Braun Strowman gets up, Jacob Fatu hits him with a running hip attack through the table. The referee begins the 10 count, and Jacob Fatu gets up at 9 with Braun Strowman down. The winner of the last man standing, Jacob Fatu. This match was physical at the same time. This match was like, this match was pretty good for what it was. You know what I'm saying? But I already know that I think Jacob Fatu is going to take the United States Championship off of LA Knight. But it is what it is. That's just my prediction. I could be wrong by saying LA Knight might retain. But what if Jacob Fatu beats LA Knight to become the United States champion? Sign up down below in the comment section. Alright, so we go to commercial break. Cody Rhodes and John Cena segment from Raw is aired in the highlight package. That was a good segment between John Cena and Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw. Alright, we cut to the garage and we see Paul Heyman standing. In comes Byron Saxton, who asks him when Roman Reigns is going to arrive, and Paul Heyman tells him any minute, and Byron Saxton walks away. So we go to commercial break. Back from the commercial break, and a black SUV pulls into the arena. Out steps an angry Roman Reigns, and he walks past Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns continues his walk towards the ring, and with Paul Heyman behind him. Roman Reigns does not do his usual entrance. He keeps walking towards the ring. Alright. He extends his hand, and Paul Heyman gives him a microphone. Roman Reigns walks around the ring with the fans chanting OTC. Roman Reigns tells Chicago to acknowledge him, and they do. He asks Paul Heyman, "Is he here?" And Paul Heyman responds with "He is." A loud CM Punk chants from the crowd. Roman Reigns says that's exactly who he is talking about, and he asks Paul Heyman if CM Punk is still talking about the favorite. Paul Heyman tells him he is, and Roman Reigns tells Chicago that he doesn't know how they deal with him. He asks Paul Heyman if he should share a secret with Chicago, and Paul Heyman tells him yes. The tribal chief Roman Reigns says that the best in the world, CM Punk, would not be back if it wasn't for him. He would not be in the main event of WrestleMania 41 if it wasn't for him. And he gets it that are good people. He is from the same city as them, and they have to like him. That means but they are not that smart. Roman Reigns says CM Punk has wrestled everyone, but he has never been in the main event of WrestleMania 41. Not until he was introduced to the tribal chief. As the fans chant OTC, Roman Reigns looks at the camera and tells CM Punk that you hear the fans chanting for OTC in his own city. He asks CM Punk to come out and tell him what's the favorite is. Seth freaking Rollins music hits, and out comes Seth freaking Rollins with Paul Heyman shaking his head. Seth Rollins gets in the ring with the fans singing his song. He introduces himself and tells Roman Reigns that he will not miss this one for the world. He says he does not know what the fair is, but the reality is that he has a fleeting. The reality will knock Roman's socks off. Unlike everyone, Roman the does not like to live in the real world. But every time Roman steps outside his little universe, reality bites him in the you know what. He tells Roman that he does not want to do a little history lesson but example A, highest of the century. Example B, the main event of WrestleMania 41 Last year, he says example B, the main event of WrestleMania last year. He tells Roman Reigns the reality is Roman Reigns underestimated CM Punk. He thinks he is above CM Punk. If he ignores him, he will go away. But he tried that and it doesn't work. CM Punk is in the main event of WrestleMania 41, and that is a reality he has to live with. He could have stopped it at War Games, but he didn't. He could have stopped it at the Garden, but he didn't. Seth Rollins tells Roman Reigns he is in a much better place this week and week than he was last week. And reality gives you two options. Either you suffer and get left behind, or you adapt and you control reality. Roman Reigns tells him the reality is that Seth Rollins is untrustworthy. He can say the word loyalty, but Seth Rollins has no clue what that means. CM Punk stands there because Roman Reigns made a promise in the wise man and he keeps his word. And the reality is he didn't call Seth Rollins out here. He called CM Punk out there. The fans chant Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins tells Roman Reigns that he is out here to hear from CM Punk, and Seth Rollins says there is only one thing missing, and looks at the entrance. The fans chant CM Punk, and Seth Rollins says to find out what the favor is. CM Punk music hits, and yeah, CM Punk music hits, and now he comes. CM Punk gets in the ring and says the favor was the favor. CM Punk says this is about friendship, about legacy, about promise made and promise kept. This is about loyalty. CM Punk says this goes back to Louisville, Kentucky, and they told Paul Heyman that he does not belong to fire him. But Paul Heyman says no. He tells Roman Reigns that his wise man is wise beyond his years. He says Paul Heyman spoke about it years ago on Raw. He says on Big Show's Buzz himself, Paul Heyman, Big Show, and RVD spoke about themselves, and CM Punk said they were going to fire him, and he told Paul Heyman not to leave, and Paul Heyman told him he will be fine, and that when CM Punk main events WrestleMania 41, forced them to deal with us. CM Punk tells Roman Reigns that they are not here anymore. He will force him out of his comfort zone, and he will force him to deal with us. CM Punk tells Roman Reigns that at WrestleMania 41 in the main event, in his corner, his wise man, his best friend, Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins laughs and Roman Reigns looks confused. Roman Reigns says that is the favorite, and he laughs. He tells CM Punk that Paul Heyman loves him and he needs him. He say Paul Heyman win if he lets him. Paul Heyman wouldn't. Roman Reigns laughs and he tells Roman Reigns to tell this desperate fool down easily. Paul Heyman looks at Roman Reigns and the fans chant CM Punk. Roman Reigns looks at Paul Heyman and Paul Heyman has tears in his eyes. Roman Reigns tells Paul Heyman he better tell CM Punk no. Roman Reigns tells Paul Heyman that he took him in. He made him relevant. And he tells him no. Roman Reigns that tells Paul Heyman he will give him one more opportunity and tell him no. Paul Heyman looks down and says, "No, my trouble chief, I cannot do that." Seth Rollins laughing and Roman Reigns grabs Paul Heyman in the corner CM Punk hits Roman Reigns from behind and hits him with the GTS, and he and Seth Rollins stare at each other with Seth Rollins yelling no no from the ring apron. Seth Rollins leaves the ring, and CM Punk is standing with his music playing as SmackDown goes out there. That was a very good segment. A very good segment to end the show. Paul Heyman being in CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania 41, being the favorite it makes it that match more interesting. Seth Rollins laughing and in the back was great too. Very fun way to end the show. Hashtag SmackDown. A good SmackDown, a solid start, and ending with some good matches and a promo between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, which was interesting in many ways. Hashtag SmackDown and WWE Smackdown goes off the air. Let me give my honest opinion. What I think about WWE Smackdown. WWE Smackdown was a good show, and that's all I gotta say. But I know at WrestleMania 41, I know something that's up. And Roman Reigns does not need to win at WrestleMania 41. And it's between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Now, in my prediction for WWE WrestleMania 41 preview predictions, I'm thinking that Paul Heyman is going to turn on Roman Reigns. I think that Paul Heyman might turn on is going to turn on Roman Reigns. But what if the other way around? What if Seth Rollins beats CM Punk and Roman Reigns does not need to get pinned? And CM Punk and not CM Punk and Seth Rollins sides with Paul Heyman. But in reality, I think that CM Punk is going to win to side with Paul Heyman. So that's just my prediction. But I could be wrong. I think that CM Punk is going to side with Paul Heyman, and that's all I gotta say. But that was a good segment on SmackDown. But overall, WWE SmackDown was a good show, and I enjoyed the show for what it was. But the build to WrestleMania has been terrible, but I am excited for WrestleMania 41. So let me say this again. The build to WrestleMania is terrible, but I am excited for WrestleMania 41. That's all I gotta say. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed my WWE SmackDown review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content that I do on the channel, and follow my social media down below in the description. Like I said earlier in the beginning of my video, I made a poll on my community post, so make sure you guys please vote. So and I will make a 3-minute YouTube short video of me showing you guys my thumbnail twice in my 3-minute YouTube short video. But here's the deal: if I show you guys my thumbnail twice in my 3-minute YouTube short video, can that video get 1.1k views on it, please? I am asking for everybody's help. If I make a 3-minute YouTube short video of me showing you guys my thumbnail twice in my 3-minute YouTube short, can that video get 1.1k views, please? And I'm going to share it everywhere. Full proof. I'm going to show you guys my thumbnail, and I'm going to share it everywhere. That's all I gotta say. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.